All right, TWiP Pro members, it is that time. You guys remember when I kicked off that little contest about a week or so ago that with the main prize of giving away 2 Canon cameras, 2 10Ds, one of which is infrared modified and one of which has a 50mm lens on it. Those cameras right now are with our good friend and TWiP Pro member Photo Joseph, and he's doing one of his episodes on them. Joseph is going to ship them directly to the winner of this contest after he's done. So that's going out. Also, our good buddy Mr. Troy Miller donated this, which is, let me take it out of the bag, I won't be lazy. This guy right here, which is a spider clip or spider holster hand strap leather to go on your new 10D or whatever camera you want to put it on, or your old 10D. So that's what's up for this recording right now. This is not an official episode of TWiP. This is just the contest judging. And to do said judging, I brought on 2 TWiP Pro members and 2 good friends of mine. First of which, Mr. Troy Miller is on the hot seat. What's up, Troy? What's
Hey. Sorry, I'm choking over here. I'm so
other than the phlegm
wrapped up in the I'm so excited. I'm getting emotional that we're gonna give away good stuff. I like it.
Yeah, this is really good stuff. Yeah, this is awesome. I'm excited. So yeah, so are you ready? You've seen the images. Any ones in there stick out in your head yet? Don't tell us which one they are, but you have any favorites?
That one right there. I like that one right there.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that was pretty cool. So yeah. All right. Also on the show is the small camera big picture man himself, Mr. Giulio Sciorio, going to bring his patented brand of irreverence to the judging. No holds barred, animal style criticism. I'm looking forward to it. What's up, G?
How's it going, man?
It's going good. It's going good. Hey, by the way, your audio and video are a little bit out of sync, so just FYI. Like when you say "uh-oh," your lips say it, and then it's recorded like 5 years later. So, but it's all good. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna keep going. That's not a big deal. So I've got both of you guys on here. We've spoken offline about the how we're gonna judge these, and we figured that we would just, since there are just a couple of entries in here on purpose, because the impetus of this was, like I said, I was just gonna give these away on TWiP Pro to someone, so I just posted them up there. I'm like, who wants these? And like a bunch of people said, I want them. So I decided, well, how do you be fair about giving these things away? I thought the fairest thing to do would just do a quick photo contest, which is what we did. The parameters for the contest were it had to be a new image. You had to submit it by the 13th at midnight, and you had to post said image to the comments in the original message that I posted, and there was a theme. Troy Miller, what was your theme that you came up with? Hey, Julie, I'm getting a lot of noise from you over there. There you go. You still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you switched mics or something. It's something's weird going on over there. Yeah, but you're back in sync. You just sound like ass.
Sound like a caca. How about now?
There you go.
Yay!
He's back.
Oh my God.
You're in sync and we can hear you. Very good. I know this stuff is like you would think all this stuff would be so easy. Just plug in your camera and go. There's like it's always landmines in here getting this stuff going. Anyway, like I was saying, I thought the best way to give this stuff away would just be to do a quick contest, have people submit an original image based on those parameters I just mentioned, and here we are. And I decided I did not want to be one of the judges because I'm kind of the benefactor of the person giving stuff away, and people are commenting back and forth to me, asking me questions about the contest, so I didn't want to. I'm too accessible to be a judge for this. So,
plus you took an opportunity to make another episode.
Yes.
Right. Like this was like, ooh, exactly. I can record something.
Yeah, it's content. I'm a content creator.
I loved it. I love it. So you asked what the premise was, and the premise was things that are often found under other things.
Yes.
And I thought that would be really hard, and I didn't think we would get anything. And there's some pretty good images in here.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, what's found that premise? Under everything is found under something, right? I mean, literally everything is found under something else. Like even the planet.
Yeah, yeah. And the inspiration for that, as silly as it is I had a drink sitting on my desk, and when I picked it up, there was a water ring. And I thought, oh, that's really cool. Things that are under other things. And I'm like, that's neat.
Yeah, it should have been things that should be under other things, like a coaster.
Should be. Oh, that has a whole nother genre right there.
Oh, right. All right, G, did you see any favorites in here that stuck out to you?
I saw a few, and now I'm looking again at. There's another one that I'm kind of like, I get it. I get it more now that I'm kind of spending some more time with it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Which is a good sign. I mean, isn't that right? You go to like a museum and you look at it, you're like, this is crap. What is this? Then you're like, you start to look at it and you look at it, and then it starts to,
like, oh, this is actually brilliant. I can see layers.
Oh,
yeah.
See the genius.
All right. Well, cool. All right. So I'm gonna do a screen share. The way I thought I would do this is I'll just do a screen share of TWiP Pro, and kind of like when we do the photo critiques, Troy, where I bring up the screen and we'll just step through them that way, and I'll put you guys can bring them up as well on your side, and you just talk through them, and then we'll move on to the next one. Then at the end, you guys can deliberate for a second and pop out hopefully with a winner. Sound good?
Cool.
All right. I'm sharing TWiP Pro now. And now I am going to basically go in. So I'm in the contest category on TWiP Pro. I'm going to click on a friendly competition, which was this friendly competition. There are some in here. Unfortunately, Nick, thanks for submitting this, but you missed the cutoff. And I put the 13th at midnight as the cutoff for this. I was deliberating on just let them in because there's very few entrants to begin with. But then I thought that would have been unfair to the people that busted their butt to get it in there by the 13th and all that. So thanks for submitting, but I can't officially consider it for this contest. But we can look at it. You guys want to take a look at Nick's image before we dive into the official ones? So
sure.
This is Nick's image here that he submitted. Great image. It is looks like Nemo, right? It's a clownfish in some are those sea anemone or whatever you call those plants?
I don't know. It's underwater, so I don't go there.
You don't go there. Are you a landlubber?
Yeah. When you go in the water, you get wet.
Oh,
so.
Well, there's a shower, there's baths, there's pools, there's jacuzzis. We are waterproof. We are designed for water. Just saying. That was a cool shot. G, you have any thoughts on this image before we move on?
No, not a whole lot. I mean, it's simple. But it doesn't really pull me in.
It's not pulling you into the sea anemone?
No, I don't know. I mean, I can go on and on about what's missing for me, but it's like you can't. If the capture itself isn't, and it's more personal, I guess, than anything else. But if the capture isn't really doing it for you, to begin with.
Well, that's good. Yeah. I mean, the photography is subjective, right? So
right. I mean, I could say, well, maybe the color should be this or that or whatever, but and I see it, I'm like, okay, it's a fish, and there's some plant or animal life around it, and
it's not moving you. It's not telling a story.
No.
Yeah. Nope. Cool. All right, I'm going to move on. And for the record, folks, I am not participating in this critique like I do in all the other critiques. I am letting these guys give their opinions while I sit back and sort of drive the ship. And all they have to do is think. All right, guys. All right, first official image up. This one is from Robert Waltman. I'm going to bring that up full screen now. Here we go. Looks like it's... remember, the title or the subject theme for this contest is things that are often under other things. Here we go. G, what do you think of this?
Looks like my breakfast.
Yeah.
Is that an organic egg? Because if it's not, then I don't really want it.
How do you know if an egg is organic or not?
You could tell. You can look at the yolk. It doesn't look too orangish. So,
yeah.
No, I mean, it's it's a pretty simple image, and then there's the spatula's underneath the egg. It's very literal.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right.
And I want you guys to be harsh. Like, do not hold back. This is not an image critique. This is judging. I know. You're allowed to be judgmental.
You could see, in a lot of these images, you can see grain. I'm totally fine with grain, and I I prefer an image. If I had to choose technically perfect or says something impactful, I'm all about saying something impactful. I do have a class on vision. That's why I'm all about that stuff, right? But this isn't, it's not saying anything. It's just like you spatula under an egg. It's kind of forgettable.
Okay. All right.
Right. Yeah. I mean, being the content of, you know, something that's under something else, that would be the spatula. So this isn't really a photograph of the spatula. This is more a photograph of the egg. So, you know, this might be a commercial shot, or this might be something of the context of the egg, right? Something that came out of something else. This would work for that. As far as the image goes, I mean, I think it's kind of a cool shot. I think that you know, the whites need to be brought up a little bit compositionally, maybe move things around just a tad. But I'm having a hard time with just the spatula as the story, because, you know, it's not really contextual for this theme, and it's not super strong for what we're looking for.
Yeah, and we preach that when we do these critiques all the time as well. And G, you got to come on as a guest critic, by the way.
Love to.
But we critique one of the themes that we talk about when we do these critiques is that story, right? There's got to be, not that there has to be a story behind all your images, but having a story helps sell the image and draw you into it. And then having a contest where there's a theme where, you know, things that are often found under other things, the idea would be to sort of weave a story around that, you know, even if it's tangential, rather than being like Giulio was saying, rather than being so literal. So, all right, any parting shots on this one before I move on?
No.
All right, I need a cricket sound effect. I'm gonna play it.
We're just waiting for your guidance.
All right, hey, I'm the bus driver. You guys are on the bus, sitting together, having a conversation. All right, here we go.
Okay, so I mean, I guess, you know, talking about the story, because I know the people that shot these are definitely going to be watching.
Yeah.
You know, the story doesn't have to be complex. It could just be beauty, and if it's beauty, then usually the image should be technically proficient with beauty lighting and post and all that. So don't think of it as it has to be like this in-depth, like when I see it, I want to like sit on a grassy hill and write poetry or something. I mean, it's like, right. It could just be like beauty, or it could be death or something extreme. Those are easier things to convey, like someone's crying on the street. But you know, if it doesn't have really anything, it's just like,
yeah, like you're saying, the story itself doesn't have to be War and Peace. It just needs to maybe
to say something.
Yeah, maybe it's an idea, right? Or maybe story
right.
is too deep. Maybe it needs to spark an idea or something other than I'm cooking.
Yeah, it needs to communicate something, right? And then a lot of times when we as photographers stand in a place, you know, you can smell the eggs and you can hear the sound of it cooking and everything. And, you know, you have all these external experiences that we don't have in the photograph. So you have to kind of think also, how do you convey the experience I'm having right now through my photograph? And that's the story part. Some of the best photographs need no explanation at all. They don't even need a title. You just look at them and go, oh my gosh, you know, I want to be there, or that's enticing, or that makes me sad, or, you know, so just remember all those external influences that you have as a photographer standing there. As the viewer, we don't get that.
Yeah. Good. Words of wisdom. All right. So
nuggets, dropping nuggets,
sheep nuggets for the win. Troy. That's
another T-shirt right there, my friend.
No,
I'm telling you.
We need an annual TWiP trophy for, like, if we do an annual photo contest, the annual trophy should be a pile of sheep nuggets. Ceramic.
I was thinking
ceramic, of course.
Steel. I was thinking something cool out of steel.
Yeah, that's good. Like, can you imagine shipping that to Craig Stampley down in Australia? I mean, come on.
Sure. Hey, if he wins, I'll ship it anywhere. That would be awesome.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be great. I'm making your mugs, by the way.
Oh, all right. We'll talk about that after this.
Yep.
All right. I'm moving on. So Anselm S is the next guy. I'm gonna bring that back up on the screen here. Here we go. All right. Remember the theme: things that are often found under other things.
I dig this. This is so good. You know, this I don't need a title. I don't need anything. I mean, I just love this image. I love the treatment, the shallow depth of field, the story that's being told here. I mean, I don't even know who these people are, if they're kids or what, but it's just like, you know, Sunday morning chilling, don't want to get out of bed. There's so many stories that these feet tell, and that is just so wonderful to me. So my only critical comment to this image would be is get those feet dead center, like you have a little extra space on the left. You know, I wouldn't knock off points, so to speak, for that, because I do love the image, but it's little things like that I think that make a difference in the end.
All right, cool. All right, and you got your notes on this one, so you know when we do the final run through, you'll need to give us your thoughts. Giulio, what do you think, man?
You know, I like this. It's a strong image. It feels definitely the most commercial of any of the images. It's clean. It's well processed. Technically, it's kind of hits all those marks. I'm not so concerned about the composition. I kind of like composition to be a little loose for something like this, because I'm thinking in my head, you know, it could, and it's a cool thing about this, the content here, is that it allows my imagination to kind of take over the story. And I'm thinking, oh, there's like a dad and his little dude in there, and they're kind of like whatever, you know, playing with toys or something under. They're just kind of being dad and dude, and you know, just doing whatever. And I kind of, my mind just kind of runs there. I think makes me think of my son, and when he's older, I'll be able to do this kind of stuff. So it takes me somewhere in without any effort on my part to interpret what the story should be. And that's what I like about this, is it allows the viewer to interpret it in an easy and natural way, if that makes sense. You know, and it's processed well. I mean, it's processed well in the commercial sense. So I think an image like this could work good for like an ad or a stock image. I wouldn't necessarily say how it's processed would be ideal for like an art piece. Like pictures of feet. I wouldn't want like a big old print of anyone's dogs up in my house. But I think as a story image, yeah, you know, I think of it as like maybe it could be an ad for some sort of very expensive prescription drug or something
bedding,
like that.
or foot lotion or something. Yeah, I was looking at this one too.
I think it's processed a little too good to be in weddings. It's a little over processed to be for weddings. But that's just that's just my taste. But I dig it. I mean, it keeps my attention. You know. It keeps my attention.
I was looking at this one. I agree with you on the stock thing, and I'm not judging this at all, but I agree on the stock side that it looks like it's commercial and ready for text at the top. That's what I was thinking, because you could easily overlay text and make this part of an article, and then those vertical lines at the top of the image mean you could use content-aware scale in Photoshop and scale that top part up to even make this a vertical image to add even more text up there if you wanted, with the feet at the bottom of the image. So
totally, yeah. Or you can expand the bottom or the sides for the most part. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
So it's got a lot of. It's a very functional image in the commercial sense, but what makes it powerful for me is that it allows me to kind of run with the story. And that's a cool thing. It's kind of like it hands me the setup, right? It hands me the intro to the story. All right, G, go for it, and then it allows my mind to kind of play, and that's what. You know, and we're all talking about it, and that's a testament to the power of the image here, is that we're all talking about it in a way that is taking our imagination to different places.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Cool, good. All right, sounds like both of you guys like this image. Sounds like this one's in the running.
Like it, yep.
Very cool. All right, gonna move up.
Oh, I got a quick question. So, would you have to get a model release on someone's feet? I'm just going to leave it like that.
No. Yeah. Unrecognizable, unless they were some celebrity and they, you know, had some distinguishing features on their feet, like tattoos or something that they were known by.
On the bottom of the feet?
On the bottom of the feet, or some kind of thing where, you know, hey, they're famous because they have this thing on their feet, and then I would assume so. But.
If you get a Frederick Van Johnson copyright tattoo on the bottom of your foot.
Happens all the time. You should see the bottom of my feet.
Making money.
No, you don't want to see the bottom of my feet. Trust me. I could not be in this shot. I'm just saying. All right, let's move on to the next one. It's Harry Hinsey. This is his abandoned tunnel. Here we go. Got this one up here. Remember, the theme is things that are often found under other things.
See, I look at this one and I wonder, like, what does it look like in that tunnel area? Like, could you get in there and then shoot some abstract? I think this one is really a tough image to, fall in love with at this point, because there's so many things going on in it and there's so many distractions in it. There's so many different photos in this one, and I have to really stretch to think about what's under what in this category. I mean, it's a cool grungy image. I mean, it's that sort of urban decay. I see a model in there. Right?
I thought you were going to say I see it as black and white, Troy, to be honest with you.
Well, okay, I wasn't going to go there, but of course, black and white would be better.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the fact, just as an image, I love the fact the windows are all blocked up and, that sort of thing. There's railroad tracks off to the right. So it's kind of a cool image. But I don't feel the story for the context that we're in, right? I don't see those kind of things. I think going into this and shooting the ceiling or something would really tell a better story.
Okay.
And black and white, of course, would help. I mean, everything
infrared,
black,
man.
white,
infrared.
green.
Come on, infrared.
Nah, this wouldn't do good in infrared.
No? Okay. All right.
No, the shadows would go too dark.
Small camera, big picture.
Yeah, like I saw that and I'm like, where's the clown from It? The first thing.
That's right.
Right, it'd be like kind of with those big old weird teeth and stuff.
Everything floats down here.
I see that and like I want to go hang out there for a few hours and photograph things and kind of that would be like where I would kind of have a photographic free for all, let myself be relaxed, not go there with any idea and just kind of have fun.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really, it's not captivating to me. It's like, cool, here's a tunnel, here's a building. It makes me want to go there and photograph it, but it doesn't really make me want to look at it for an extended period of time.
Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, the highlights are drawing your attention away. I mean, there's all these compositional things going on in there that distract your mind, and there's no simpleness where your eye can land and just sort of chew on for a while. I mean, maybe if you pulled back, shallower depth of field, there was a chair sitting there, and then the chair draws you in and you want to sit in the chair. I mean, but I'm like Giulio, like, dude, I totally want to go there and take pictures. Like, this would be amazing.
Yeah.
And then in an image like this, quality of light matters, just like in a regular portrait. Come back in the morning when the light is shining, or the evening when the light is shining into the tunnel and the background is dark. All those things make a difference in an image.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Very cool.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine that when he critiques, he looks at stuff like this and he says, you got to ask yourself, how is this image different or better than anybody else that stood there?
Right. I often have that same feeling when I'm standing in front of landmarks like the Golden Gate Bridge or something. Like, how do you make a shot of this that isn't exactly the same or worse than any of the other millions of people that have stood there? But that exact same shot, my height with the same camera gear and aimed in the same direction.
And everyone's got their phone out. And I'm like, dude, can't you guys all just put it down for a second, be present to what you're looking at? And,
yeah.
Well, it's like if you go to... Yeah, it's like if you go to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, there's a place there. There's the tripod holes of Ansel Adams that photographed the Snake River with the mountains in the background. And you got to go there and you can stand there and you can take the shot. But really, it's like he took the shot. It's never going to be that again. So we went there and I'm just like, this is cool. This is great. We talked about it. I went, click with my phone and I walked away. I'm like, I was here. That was it. I documented my time,
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Should have brought like a giant beefy old Manfrotto or pre-Manfrotto Bogan tripod, put your phone on that thing.
Yeah.
Like a hood over your head.
There you go.
Like, let's be serious.
Back in the day. All right, any parting shots on this shot before we move on to the next one?
I think
go back
and
shoot it again.
Yeah, I think Troy hit the nail on the head. The lighting would really transform that. I mean, what I would do is I would visit it if you could, if it's nearby in the morning, visit it in the evening, kind of, maybe kind of play with it if it's a image that's important to you, and see how the light really fits, and then maybe think of an object or something you could put inside the opening of that
like a little red balloon.
or a BTS doll or something, you know, I don't know, whatever it is you wanted, you know.
That would be kind of creepy if there was just a little balloon floating in there. So
yeah, go back there after weather too. Go back there after it rains. Go back there when there's storms. Go back there. I mean, you've got to, you know, we mentioned Ansel Adams. You know, Ansel Adams photographed Yosemite thousands of times. He lived there. I mean, and he only has a handful of images that he actually really loved because that's when the lighting was right and the weather was right, and you know. So you got to go back and shoot it over and over and over.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, cool. All right, let's move on to the next one. We're down to the last few here. This next one is from Matthew Moore. Here we go. Looks like a plane over some branches. What do you guys think? Giulio, I'll let you go first, man. What do you think?
I like it. It's up there as one of my faves. When I'm looking at it, it really makes me think of like when I was a kid and I'm looking up and I'm seeing people fly, wondering where they're going to. I still kind of do that sometimes as an adult. I'm like, where are they going? I would like to get the hell out of where I'm at right now. You know, I'm also thinking about like forest fires that's going on lately because the trees kind of looks like it's brittle, maybe dried out. You know, and when I first saw it, I initially thought that's the story in my head that went on, was like, oh, this has something to do with the forest fires. Looking at it closer, it does not. But I like it, and I like the processing on it. I like that it's not trying to make the image perfectly crisp and technically flawless. We see that so often when it's unnecessary to convey what's in the image. So I like it. I think it's one of my faves. Would I put it up as a print somewhere? I don't know if I would, but then again, I mean, look at my room. I got nothing up in it.
Your office there is pretty stark, man.
Dude, I'm in the Jabberwocky room here.
You are. I'm surprised you let that ceiling fan in there.
It's going, dude. It's got to go. I gotta
take it in the garage and spray paint it white, or what?
No, I'm just taking it out.
There you go.
Taking it out.
Awesome. All right, Troy, what do you think about this shot?
I love it. I mean, I absolutely love this image. This is one of those images that when it comes up, I look at it and go, if this was in my library, this would have 5 stars and it would have a keyword portfolio, because to me that would be one of my favorite images that I made. And this to me fits all of the criteria in my brain. You know, it's intentional. Like the branches on the right aren't, you know, piercing the edges of the frame. That stuff drives me nuts if it does that. That's my OCD. So that's awesome. There's this nice gradient on the right, maybe a little heavy. So, you know, my Photoshop OCD says, okay, that's not so bad. And then I love the stacking with the out of focus plane in the background. And like Giulio said, it's like, you know, where are they going? Mm-hmm. So this is, to me, is like, you know, you're walking through a park, you're hanging out with somebody and you look up and you see a plane, and this sort of encapsulates that moment in time or thought of so many different aspects of our lives, right? Like coming and going, or, you know, who's on the plane, and you know, the tree, the randomness and the branches and all those things. I mean, there's so many things that I could pour into this that my brain just loves about it. Yeah. And so, you know, I also, it's kudos to somebody for seeing that, taking the photo, you know, prepping it, you know, preparing it and finishing it. Yeah. So this is definitely a favorite, and I would hang this. This is something that I would hang on my wall. I mean, I would definitely hang this because it's abstract enough that anybody that looks at it, they're going to put their own story into this. Yeah. Yeah. You know, you could not argue that you know what this is about. You could only argue what your opinion is and how it makes you feel. And that to me, that's the magic of photography. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of, you know, subjective thoughts there, but this is definitely on the top of my list. I really like this a lot.
You know, I'm looking at the comments because when I see these all on my computer, I didn't want to look at the backstory and all that. I just wanted to judge them on the images. But apparently, it is an aerial fire extinguisher, so that
okay,
that kind of fits in what I was thinking initially.
Yeah, very cool. All right. Sounds like we have a couple of faves as we move through here. All right, gonna move on from Matthew Moore, and okay, here's the next one from Craig Stamfley, Down Under. Here we go. He calls this one Downtown. What did he call this?
Downtown
Car Park. Okay, here we go. All right, Troy, what do you think?
I love these. Excuse me. I love these shots. These are always so interesting. I drive through, underground parking structures, and I'm like, oh, I want to photograph that. But I'm on the way to a wedding, so I don't have time. So it's neat that I get to see these. I love the signs, the little, stormwater sign on the pipe at the top, the exit sign, the arrow. I'm a little curious. He's standing in the exit, so is that safe? I guess he would see the car coming as opposed to the other way.
Yeah, well, I think he's on one of those see that thing that's bisecting the image in the middle. I don't know, that looks like it's a walkway, and he's probably standing on another walkway, aiming back towards the other one.
And it's black and white. The vertical lines are really nice. So, the intentional use of lines and shapes is really well done. I like the shadows being, more in the forefront of the image and the light in the background, so things are kind of backlit. I really like that. This would go good with a red balloon as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love this image. I really do. It's really nicely done.
Yeah. All right, cool. Giulio Sciorio.
I like it, and some things about it that I think are missing, and there's one thing that's just not my taste. Mainly, what's not my taste is the processing. It just looks like an HDR black and white image. It looks like it's maybe processed a little heavy, but that's kind of what brings out all the grunginess of the structure. Like when I see this, I'm like, dude, someone got to take a power washer to this thing. It's nasty, and it's probably doesn't look that bad in real life, or maybe it does, but I don't think it does. The other thing is like, okay, so it's a structure. It's black and white. It's dirty.
Yeah.
What else?
I see you reaching. You sound like you're reaching.
No, it's like what's the story though? I think what would really round this image out for me would be if in the background somewhere you saw something. It could be a couple holding hands or whatever. It could be. Maybe there's a vehicle and there's someone coming. I don't know. I feel like as it is, it's just kind of a plain image.
Mm-hmm.
It has interesting processing to bring out the detail, but it doesn't. There's no story behind it. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like, I did a lot of shots like these when I first started, because this kind of stuff is interesting. You see it, you're like, oh, that's really cool. But then we got to stop and kind of look at it and be like, okay, well, what's it saying, right? Yeah. When you verbalize it, sometimes you can be like, okay, well, I like it because of this, but I don't know if it's really worth putting the time and effort into.
Okay. All right. Well, good. All right. So there we got that one. Thank you, Craig Stamfley, for that one. All right. And the next one is the Hope Table from Andy S. I'm going to bring this one up. Here we go. Here's the Hope Table. Remember, things that are often found under other things. Giulio Sciorio, why don't you kick it off?
So at first, I did not really care for this at all. I was like, kind of passed over it. And then when I started actually, and that's me. That wasn't the image. That's just me, kind of like not really putting a little bit of effort. This image requires a little bit of effort to start to see the story. Then I was like, and again, I didn't look at captions. I just downloaded this. I wanted to see what was going on. Then I saw the X-ray on one side, the test in progress sign. I was like, oh. Then I saw hope is an anchor. Anchor is something that goes below. The soul is something that you could argue is kind of below the skin, is deep. And I started to really see all these things that are below, right? The table's below the X-ray sign. It's below the in progress. Anchor is below hope, and it's very literal on the sign. So I started to, like, the more I look at this, the more I appreciate it. And I really like that story. I think this image would work really well in a series. Say if it was a series of 4 or 5, and this being a supporting image, someone's day in the hospital being treated for chemo, which is what I'm assuming is where they are. I think this would be an excellent image to support other images, but by itself, I'm not too drawn to it, but I do like the message I dig. The message I dig.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not like, it's not gripping me as much as some of the others.
Okay. All right. Troy Miller, what do you think?
Yeah, I really agree with Giulio. I think that all of those symbolisms of things being under other things, I think it's spoken to fairly well here. I think though that the image is a little too busy. There's too many stories happening all at once. So yeah, like in a series, like this is establishing shot, then you push into the hope and the lamp and the table really tight, and then you push into just the lamp and then the rocks that are underneath there. So the way that it is right now, there's too many things going on. I have to sort of talk myself through the image to tell myself, hey, this is what's going on, as opposed to just really being drawn in and saying, I get it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's what the artist requires. Maybe that's what they want. They really want it to be an intelligent type of thing, and you have to really work at it. In this case, though, I think with an image like this, if you were to push in really tight, maybe the hope sign in the table, it might tell a little bit different story, or just the lamp and the rocks. That would be easier for me to buy into. I also struggle a little bit in an image like this with the composition. It's like you were cropping off the X-ray sign at the top. You didn't have to do that. I get the reflection in the bottom, but it's not really integral to the part of the story. So we don't need that. Come in and really just show me only the things that I need to see. Mm-hmm. And that would help me with the story a lot. I mean, I think that it's great, and I'm really glad that Giulio expressed all those things, because initially this was one of those images I looked at and I'm like, I don't get how it fits in this context. Yeah. And then looking at it more like he did, and then hearing him explain it, that really, I went, oh, that's it. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Welcome to G World. Yeah.
but that's also an amazing example of how we, as not only just as artists, but as the viewer of art, like if somebody really has to sit down and figure it out, maybe you didn't communicate it well enough, right? And so.
Yeah, unless it's just to interject. Yeah, I hear that. When people are in a position to sort of stand in front of an image with their hand on their chin and examine it, is in a kind of a gallery setting, right? And they're like, okay, all right, what was this artist thinking when they put this together? And they kind of put their mind in that receptive mode, but for the other 99% of the times when we're looking at images, it needs to grab us by the throat when we first look at it and then pull us in, versus us giving it our attention by default, right?
Right. And then every viewer sort of has their own preference, their own flavor for something. I like to walk into a gallery. I like to walk in to see an image and immediately I kind of get it. Mm-hmm. The images that are complicated, I just go to the next image, because I personally like simplicity and minimalism. So that's my favorite style. So if I've got to sit down and figure out the Picasso, what the hell was he thinking? I'm moving on. That's just me.
Yeah.
So that's just my.
That's the nature of art.
Palette.
Right? The nature of art is subjectivity. So yeah. Cool. All right, let's move on. Thank you, Andy S., for submitting that shot, the hope table. All right, I think is that it? That's it. The only other one we have in here is that photo you stuck in here of this spider holster thing. I don't think we're judging that, right?
You put that in there.
No, the composition was. No, let me scroll through.
Wouldn't use that blue carpet.
Nope, I don't think we missed any. We got them all. Cool. All right, judges, we're back on. You guys are back on the screen. It's time for deliberations. You want to run through them real quickly one more time, just to refresh your memory? So we've got the egg, the pan spatula butter and egg from Robert Waltman. That was the first one that we looked at. And then we had the Anselm S. image, my kids' not so clean feet. All right, and then we had Harry Hinsey, the abandoned tunnel. And then we had the aerial fire extinguisher. And then we had downtown car park. And then lastly, Andy S. and the hope table.
So my favorite would be the Matthew Moore's aerial fire extinguisher. You know, the abstract, the branches, and the airplane. That would be my top pick.
All right, I got that one up on the screen now. So Troy, you wanna give this one the win?
I would give that 2 enthusiastic thumbs up.
All right, 2 enthusiastic thumbs up for the aerial fire extinguisher.
But I could be persuaded to the Anselm shot of the kids because I like that one as well, but I like the abstract nature of the branch better. So I'm kind of in between, but I would, he gets a very enthusiastic 1 thumbs up on the kids under the sheets.
My kids' feet? Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. All right, Giulio, Sciorio, what say you? What's your favorite out of all those?
My favorite would be the fire extinguisher as well. I was kind of torn. Like, I like the shot of the feet a lot. I really do. But I just, I find there's a little more depth, enough for my taste where it's not so deep where I got to like stare at it and really, really work.
Yeah.
But enough where I could be like, oh, this is kind of cool. And is this about fire? Could be a fire extinguisher. And look at the comment it is. I'm like, oh wow, now I want to look at it some more. So I kind of enjoyed that process with this particular image.
All right. Well, cool. We have a winner. It looks like the winner is the aerial fire extinguisher. Congratulations, Michael Moore.
Matthew.
You are the winner. I'm sorry.
Is it Matthew?
I gotta say Michael Moore.
Say what?
The director's in here.
Are we looking at the same screen?
Matthew Moore. Sorry about that. He's like, yeah, I get that all the time.
He's making some sort of weird documentary on photography culture or something.
Yeah.
And then I was infiltrated into the TWiP Pro network.
Is that how it sounds?
You can like knock on your door with the American flag wrapped around him in his hat or whatever.
Oh, that hat.
What do you think about blah 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 blah?
He and I share the same hometown. We're
oh, nice.
From the exact same spot, Flint, Michigan.
Wait, is that Flint?
Flint, Michigan. Yep. Yeah.
Wow. You don't have any family that lives there still, do you?
Do I have any family? No, they for the most part have moved away. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. No, the lead water. You gotta. Yeah, you get a free shot of lead in every sip of water you take. That's Flint, Michigan. Awesome, cool. All right, we have a winner. You guys happy? Matthew Moore, aerial fire extinguisher. This is our first inaugural kind of photo contest for TWiP Pro. Hopefully, the first of many. This was fun. I like the way this went.
Congratulations,
you guys did a fantastic job. I love your comments. You guys are very thoughtful and thought through every little aspect and very fair. I think I have my own opinions personally. I would have picked the feet image. I like that one.
Really?
I would have picked that one because it feels, I like simplicity and it feels more simple and I do like the aerial fire extinguisher too. I mean, I like that one too. That would have been my runner-up, but I would have went with the feet as my winner. Just saying.
Thanks to everybody for submitting. I mean, it's not an easy thing to put your photos up and to have it be judged.
Yeah.
It's a brave thing to do that. So thank you for submitting and allowing us to be ourselves with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for anybody that doesn't know, I mean, we don't do this lightly. I mean, we fully understand the sensitivity that goes into these images. You put your heart and soul into creating things, and then you put them out there for somebody to critique and look at. It is definitely not easy. So bonus points just for that. I think Frederick should give all of you a camera.
You got enough, don't you?
I might actually.
Here's some bit of advice for the contestants. If you love the image, keep it. Don't feel bad about anything that we said. It's just our opinion. It's our views. Take with it what you will, but at the same time, if you really like it, if you're strong about it, then keep with it and build out a body of work that represents more of that particular image. If you really feel strongly about it, that's how trends start. That's how like Terry Richardson started the whole snapshot direct flash look. He sold that hard for years. So don't give up because it's on TWiP Pro and we're like, I don't like it because it's an egg or whatever. but there can only be one.
There you go. There can yeah, Highlander. Very cool. All right, guys, I'll let you get on with your day. Again, I echo what Giulio said. Thank you, all of the submitters that put your images in here. I appreciate it. Even though I know you wanted that camera really, really bad. A lot of you really wanted that camera. But there's only one. It can, like Giulio said, Highlanders, there can be only one. So we have our one. And it is Matthew Moore. Congratulations, sir. I will be in contact with you through the DMs to exchange shipping information and all that, and we'll go from there. Cool. All right, guys. Any parting shots? Giulio, why don't you let us know where you are, so if people want to, go find out what you're up to, they can do that.
Sure. I'm at smallcamerabigpicture.com, and I'm enrolling for session 2 of Finding the Photographer's Vision. So come on over.
All right. There you go. Cool. And what about you, Mr. Miller? What's going on?
I'm in a sabbatical from F64 Live, so I'm recovering. You can just check me out at spicyjello.com.
Spicyjello.com. Cool.
Yeah, we're planning the next F64. So
yeah. All right. Cool. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you. That was, like I said, the first This Week in Photo TWiP PRO Photo Contest for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and yeah, let us know what you guys think in the comments on this this post. This is actually not going to be a blog post. I don't think I'm going to make this a blog post. Maybe I will. Yeah, we'll make this a blog post. Content, right, Troy?
I'm like, I know he's gonna make it a post. Of course he is.
Yeah, I was just gonna post it inside of TWiP PRO, but I'm thinking, no, we'll make this public so people can sort of see the process and walk through it with us. So yeah, so this will be on thisweekinphoto.com as well as inside TWiP PRO for all you members to gawk at and comment on. All right, that's it. See you guys. Thank you. I'll see you next time.
Perfect. Take care.
Peace.